Freaking drama, Megan.
I know.
I hated it.
Me
I
too.
Zoom your family like every day of my life. And the one time I Zoom
I know. You try to Zoom
the
me and it
Adams that I
sucks.
don't ever
I know.
talk to on Zoom, it's chaos.
I know.
Chaos. Well, anyway, bienvenidos a conversación del, how do you say quarantine in Spanish? Do you know the answer?
I wish I knew. I don't know. I took 3 years of Spanish and then stopped.
Do you know how to say it in sign language?
Quarantine?
Yeah.
No, it's not something we're learning.
That's not a vocab word.
No, not quite.
It's gonna have to be now. Like, I think that you're gonna see a changing
Because
of
they're gonna ask you in the fall, like, "Oh, what'd you do over the summer?" And you got to sign quarantine.
like what is
That's all
what is
everybody
summer?
ever did.
What is anything? What is time?
I don't know.
It looks
I
beautiful.
thought today was Sunday. So
It looks beautiful where you are at home.
thank you. I'm in my front yard.
Yeah. What computer are
Normally
you
quiet
using?
space.
Because students who are watching this will recognize that Taylor on some video calls does not have the best, technology.
Yeah, no, she does not. She also sits outside in our backyard, which has worse Wi-Fi. But I use a Mac,
Oh,
and she uses
killer.
a Chromebook that's dying. So
And yeah, so we all know the winner there.
yeah, it's okay. She just bought a Mac, so
I
it's
know.
coming.
We're happy. We stand the
I'm
Mac.
excited, so she won't have to use my computer anymore.
Oh, thank God. Finally. Anyway, you know her, you love her. Megan Adams, welcome to Quarantine Conversations. You thought it was Sunday? What made you think it was Sunday today?
Because I don't know what day it is ever, and it's Sunday. Yesterday only really felt like Sunday when I watched church, and then I just forgot because I'd laid in bed all day because
Yeah.
I got 4 hours of sleep that night. So I just I don't know. I don't know what time is.
Yeah.
So
It's I mean, who knows what anything is anymore?
no, I don't. I really don't.
What do you miss? What do you miss most about the outside world?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think I just want to go do fun stuff. Like I want to go, I don't know, it was just nice to have the freedom of oh, if I want to go watch a taping of The Voice or something, I don't know, I'll get emails for that and can't do that anymore.
No.
And I wouldn't normally, it's not a pastime thing I do, but just having the option or just to go out to eat or something.
Yeah.
Or, sit in a restaurant and talk to my friends, or honestly, I used to just go to coffee shops all the time
Right.
to be alone and get work done, and I can't even do that anymore. So just having the freedom to do the things that I would normally do, it just is rough not to have the freedom. Even if I chose not to do it, it's at least I knew that I could go
Right.
do it. And so now it's dang, I didn't know what I'd be losing. So
The coffee shop thing's the biggest bummer for me. I just ordered a case of cold brew from a company because I just don't want to not have cold brew anymore. And it's a little indulgent. I know that most people are getting by without buying cases of cold brew, but whatever.
I get it. We all got our things.
Here I am. You said you didn't necessarily do a lot of those things, but the freedom was nice. And so I'm wondering, what do you feel like you have the freedom to do now? Has this unlocked any other freedoms in you?
I don't know. I mean, in the sense of not that I have the freedom to, because I could have done this whenever, mainly because I wasn't working full time, so I was just on call working before this all happened. But so it's I still did have time, but for some reason it just was I had other things I could be doing, so I wasn't doing it. But doing different crafts, I've been embroidering so much, which has been so fun.
That's
and I've
awesome.
been wanting to do that, learn how to do that forever. And then finally I was whatever, I'm just going to do it. And
That's
so
rad. I think that's awesome.
outing actually was to Michael's with Abby to go get the stuff to start embroidering. And then that same day, while we were out, my mom called and she was hey, they're shutting the world down. I was dang it. So we walked into Michael's and we were this is the last time. So yeah, I've been doing that. I made hanging shelves in our living room.
Oh,
with my mom.
awesome.
So just new hobbies,
Yeah.
new projects that I've wanted to do forever and just haven't done, or my family hasn't had the time to help me with the shelves, because I don't know how to cut wood or anything. So,
Right. Who knows how to do that?
Yeah. So I've had the freedom to do that, just do things that I've wanted to do forever and haven't really gotten around to.
So the freedom to do, to explore more of what you can do at home.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about rest? I see a lot of and I'd be interested in your perspective on this, to be honest. I see a lot of people, two sides. One is like, I have learned how to, take out a business loan and open up a dog shelter and like build a skateboard ramp. And like, like people are just insanely inventing crazy things to do.
Mhm.
And people are like, you go, you do your quarantine, like you become the best version of yourself with all the stuff you can do. And then you also see a lot of people like, don't do anything, like rest, take a deep breath, breathe, take a pause. So I'm wondering, do you feel the freedom to be in the middle there? Or like, are you finding yourself resting more? Are you finding yourself being more, actively participating in the other side?
Yeah, I mean, I I keep saying like just in everything in general, like for my quarantine versus most people's quarantine that I talk to, like mine is so it feels so opposite to everybody else's. Like everybody's like, okay, you've been working so hard for so long, like take rest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, that's true. I mean, I just graduated college for Pete's sake. So like, yeah, I was working super hard, but
Yeah.
then like before that, I wasn't really working full time. And so I was like trying to actually find things to do. And so for me, I feel like resting almost looks like doing things that I love rather than just like taking a breather.
I love that. That's good.
Yeah, so I feel like I've actually, like I've been like exercising every day, which I mean I usually do anyway, but like just finding new ways to do that and like getting I don't know, just like finding ways to do that or do a project or something is restful to me because when I just like sit or like and of course it's important for me to like sit and take a breather or like journal or just kind of rest, but I also find a lot of rest in doing the things that I love and like discovering new things. So for me it's been kind of flipped where it's like, okay, I really wasn't working that hard. I wasn't, student teaching or I wasn't full-time teaching yet. So or I wasn't working like any kind of subbing. So
Right.
I worked maybe like 5 or 6 times before we got shut down from January to March. So it was more just like, okay, now I'm here and I don't want to just like sit down in my house all day. I want to
Right.
like explore things and I don't know, like get to know these like parts of like I don't know, just like these things that I've wanted to do for so long. So for me that's rest.
Nice.
Because when I actually physically rest, I don't feel rested. I just feel like, oh, this is terrible. Like I not that I like should be doing something, not like that productivity,
Mm-hmm.
thing, but it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored.
Yeah.
I wanna find rest in this way, if that makes sense.
No, that's super insightful. I think that's really wise to find rest in those things. And so, it's interesting. You say you're bored, and I see your sister a lot, but I see both. I mean, how you all are on social media and stuff, and
Mhm.
it looks like you are having fun. But how are you fighting against isolation? I mean, is it all family stuff, or like what else are you doing to push against the feelings of like isolation and loneliness?
Yeah. I mean, again, like I don't know. I feel like my situation is so opposite, but like I haven't once felt isolated in the sense that other people are feeling isolated. I think more it's just like I miss my friends
Mm-hmm.
in that kind of isolation. And I don't know, even just like seeing some of my friends go like visit like their significant others or something, it's like, dang,
Yeah.
I wish that like we could hang out or whatever. And so there's like isolation in that. So I don't know, I've just been like FaceTiming people or
Mm-hmm.
like I had friends that live in NorCal and they came down to move their sister out of her apartment in Riverside and they like made kind of like a trip to all of us down here in Southern California and like visited and they sat in their car and I stood, so there's like we'll like find ways to at least see each other in person. Like people have come to our doorstep and just like talked from outside and that's super, super nice. Just to like see my friends because I'm not like deprived of people because
Right.
there are many people in my house, but I feel very much isolation from like my friends and just like normal life and even just like strangers. I don't know. I just love people watching, coffee shop hopping, and
Yeah.
I just like miss other human beings that don't live in my house.
Right.
So
No, yeah, totally.
yeah,
So that's
FaceTime outside hangs.
yeah, that's good. And I think you said something interesting about like you have a lot of people in your house and you haven't really felt that. But I do wonder, and this isn't necessarily rest, but it's like, what are the ways or how have you creatively been like recharging your batteries with a limited space with a lot of people in it in this time?
Yeah. I mean, I've been like with the projects I've been doing, like with my shelves. Not my shelves. I didn't really do anything except for sand them and
Hmm.
stain them.
But
But
it's still
you
something.
know, I worked a little bit. It was my
It's
idea,
more
so
than I've
I'll
built
take
in
it.
quarantine, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so I've been like enlisting people in my family to help me with those projects.
Hmm.
um, so just kind of like using them, or like Abby started cross stitching when I started embroidering, and we like both learned together.
Fun.
Um, so that's been kind of nice, and like which I just like find things that we're both interested in that we might want to do together. And Abby and I have been working out together almost every day,
Fun.
um, which we don't normally do. So it's been cool. So just like enlisting the people in my family if they have, I don't know, I'm just always like, hey, I'm gonna do this, do you want to do this with me? Not every day, because sometimes I want to do it alone,
Right,
you know,
right. That's what
never alone, but
that's good.
yeah. Or,
The balance of like that is super, super important. Like Megan and I have a lot of conversations of like, how do we communicate to each other? You know, like we want some space, and it's not like I hate you, I hate this time, because we don't. It's I just
mhm,
need to focus on myself and, you know, grow
yeah.
there. And I think that's like money. And I think that we can neglect that, especially in this time. I think there is a pressure, like an outside pressure to be super active and super social over Zoom. But I mean,
Mhm.
like, I can only Zoom so much in a given
Yeah.
week. Can you, I mean, like, can you speak to that a little bit? Like, how addicted
Oh,
to your
yeah.
screen are you right now? And like, how much of it is like just out of sheer necessity?
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed that I like my screen time yesterday. I think it went up by like 33% from
Jeez.
last week.
And
Like,
you're like, it's not because I'm like on
yeah.
Instagram more. I mean, I might be, but it's not because I'm like
Right.
just messing around on my phone all day.
hmm Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I even had to, because going into this, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to FaceTime so much. And like, I'm in a life group out like in La Mirada
Hmm.
with some of my friends from Biola, and we used to meet every other Thursday, but we've been like Zooming every Thursday, and we're like reading a book together. And I have been joining, but last Thursday when we met, I had been on like three different Zoom calls just with friends for like 2 hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so dumb like saying no to a Zoom call.
Right.
It's like I like had to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, I might join late, and then I was like, no, I can't. I need to like just sit and like not talk to another person.
Hmm.
It's just weird. Like we're so isolated, but yet to me it feels like I'm still consistently talking to people,
Hmm.
but it's just like not the same. And
Mm-mm.
so I've had to say no to Zooms,
Yeah.
which feels so weird. It's like, don't I want to talk to these people? But it's like, no, we're actually talking so much, and so it can
Yeah.
get really exhausting.
And it feels so silly to say no. You're right, because it's like it's not really that much of a commitment. Like I'm just logging onto my computer and talking.
hmm
But there is such a level of like, I mean, before these live streams every week, like I end up getting really stressed, and it just feels like another extra weight. And it's like, what is that? And I think we'll think and process and talk about that for a long time after this of like, we, we have set up a system with screens and stuff that's really fun, but the in-person thing is what can counterbalance it. But now that we don't have that, it's like, gosh, man, I hate Zoom.
Yeah, I know.
What's,
It's rough.
what has been the best virtual background you've seen on Zoom though?
Oh my gosh. I haven't actually, nobody's really done one like when
Mm-hmm.
I've been on it.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
I've
hard.
always, I know, I've seen like, I've seen, I saw a TikTok once that I thought was so funny. I don't know if it's just like me going nuts, but that like potato, when they turn into potato, I don't know if you've seen it,
I haven't.
but you can just turn yourself into a potato. So you're like a floating potato with your own eyes and your mouth, I think. And it's great. And it was this professor who was, or like a boss or something, and he was zooming with his employees, and he couldn't get the potato, like he couldn't not be a potato anymore. And so
That's
he's
really
like,
funny.
I'll have to send it to you. But he was like, guys, seriously, take me seriously. Like, I don't know how to put a potato off, but you have to take me seriously. And people are just like heaving laughing because he's like a literal floating potato, but he can't figure it out, but he's still trying to be taken seriously. So I love that one. But I
That
haven't
sounds really
actually,
funny.
when I was on Zoom, I haven't, except for I think Caleb Agonia when he was,
Himself, or like he was the background, and then like he put it in
yeah,
him.
whatever. It was like it was either Crossroads or an Impact Night
Yeah,
when he was on. And I don't remember what it was, but that was pretty good.
he's funny. He's a little Zoom meme lord.
I know. I'll channel that one day. I just
One
haven't
day.
figured it out.
I'm interested in like what do you think like movies and TV shows are like gonna be like? I mean, they're gonna have like a whole new category of like we could do Zoom calls or we can do this, you know, like I don't know. Have you had any revelations in quarantine of like how the world's going to look after this situation, after this season we're in?
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot. Well, not a lot, like twice.
I think about it every moment of
thought about it a
every
little
single
bit.
day.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing I dwell on. I don't know. I think because part of me wants it to just like be completely normal again and like have no change because I'm like I don't want to live in this.
Mhm.
Like I was talking to
Yeah.
someone in my family, maybe Abby, and I was like, when do you think we're gonna not hear about the virus anymore on the news or like anywhere in media? She's like 2024. I'm like,
Jeez.
honestly, like
Hope
like,
Abby is wrong.
like I know, me too. Um, and so I thought about it and I was like, I feel like I don't know. And I was like, dang, all the movies and TV shows that are shooting right now had to stop.
Yeah.
And like, there's going to be nothing really like new for a long time. But I don't know. I feel like people hopefully will come out of this and just like not take anything for granted, which
Mhm.
sounds so cliche, but I mean, like, seriously,
No, it's good. It's good.
you know, like going out to eat with your family is like something that we took for granted.
Right.
It's like so normal, but now we can't even do that.
Right.
And so, or just like going over to a friend's house
Yeah.
and sitting on the couch on your phone. Like, I feel like when people will go to their friend's house, hopefully, like, we won't just sit there scrolling
I
through
know.
whatever. Like, that's
Yeah.
how so many people hang out. That's how I used to hang out,
Yeah.
you know, when I was hanging out with people. And so it's like, I hope that we can go over to people's houses and like actually have conversations
Right.
and like not want to be on our phones because we're so sick of it. And so I hope that will happen. But
Fingers crossed.
yeah, honestly,
For real.
I mean, I'd like to make that
Yeah.
happen in my own life. So.
I know. But at the same time, like I'd almost kill for a time just like to go over my friend's couch and be on my phone. Like I
right.
think I think maybe like 2 or 3 hangs post quarantine, I'll be like ready to go back to normal and just like be on my phone and stuff like that. So, oh no, she froze. This has been one of the most you're frozen.
Glitching.
You're glitching. You're glitching. Oh no. How am I going to ask you the final question if you're glitching?
No.
Hold on a second. Let's see if we can figure this out. This is funny. This is inside baseball here.
I don't know what happened, but
I can hear you.
I don't know if you can.
Megan, can you
You can
hear
hear
me?
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? No? Oh no. Well, we'll have to post a part 2. Oh, there she is. Oh,
Okay.
You're back. Wow,
That
that
was
was
weird.
crazy.
That was bizarre.
That was so bizarre, but you're back, and I'm so happy because now
Okay.
I can ask you the final question. I don't know. I was going to live in
Great.
drama and turmoil my whole life if I didn't know the answer. Megan, one thing you're
Mm-hmm.
watching, reading, doing in quarantine that you want to recommend to everybody.
Ooh. Let's see. I'm reading a book with my life group, which is weird because I don't read.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't like reading. But it's a Christian book. It's called How's Your Soul by someone I don't remember.
Yes.
And it's pretty good. It's just like it's like very simple, like a really simple read.
Cool.
And it's just about like checking in on, like, quite literally, like, your soul. How are you doing?
Nice.
Like the importance of just like checking in on yourself and kind of having like that inner peace within you, so then that you can, I don't know, it's like when trials come, if you are at peace and like you know your soul and you know how you're doing, and like you have that peace in Christ, then like these trials don't hit us nearly as hard. And so it's been kind of cool, and like this time to read it, be like, oh, okay, now it's, you know, like this is actually really applicable.
Right.
I mean, he wrote it years ago, so I
Yeah.
had no idea I'd be reading it in this time, but it's like a lot of what's in there is really applicable. It's like finding rest. Like, what does rest look like? What is, you know, like, looks different for everybody, but yeah, just like getting in touch with who you are, which
Nice.
honestly is like, it's great. It's like pretty, you know, your cheesy Christian book, but
Sounds good.
it's like actually pretty helpful. It's being so cheesy and cliche for a reason, I always say. So
That's
Yeah.
I have a lot of books like that where I'm like, I really wish this wasn't called this or didn't have this, but it's good.
yeah,
It's good no matter
I
what.
wish my book wasn't called How's Your Soul,
Yeah.
but it is. So
But it's good. It sounds like it's working. Sounds like you
Yeah.
enjoy it. That's good. Well, Megan, you froze again, and it seems like it's good a time as any to hang up. She can't hear me. She's dead. She's
yeah,
gone.
you sound like a robot.
I sound like a robot. Anyway, Megan, thank you for being on the podcast. You're frozen. It's fine.
Can
Can you hear
you
me?
hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Oh no, here. I'll pull the chat into the
No.
here, hold on a second. I'll pull the chat into the video and say, thank you, Megan. Oh, you're back. Okay, good.
Oh,
Okay, let's end this before. Oh gosh, almighty. This is a disaster. Thank you, Megan, for being on the podcast. Oh, she's back. Okay.
I'm
Anyway.
here.
All right, we're going to say goodbye because this is going to cause drama. Okay. Thank you, Megan, for being on the podcast. Have a good day. Be safe. Enjoy your time. My best to your family. There we go. That's how you do it. Quarantine conversations. You gotta do with what you're given.